The Bamboo Project podcast starts in 3, 2.
Welcome to the Bamboo Project podcast. My name is DonivanG, the future $10 billion man. On the way to 10 billion, I decided I'm going to help create 1,000 millionaires, including myself. And not by being a guru or selling a course, but by doing the things I already love to do every day and documenting my journey to get there. I figure I'll make all the mistakes so you don't have to. My name is DonivanG, and this is how I will turn my life into a living. I like to start off by giving a shout out to all the people rocking with us and supporting the channel. We really appreciate you. We are currently streaming on all major streaming platforms such as Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Anchor. You name it, we on it. And if we not on it, we about to be on it. For everyone listening to this podcast and not watching it, you can find us on YouTube at The Bamboo Project. We have over 400 videos on our channel. Do you want to learn real estate? We got that. Do you want cooking tutorials inspired by Dr.Sebi? We got that. Do you want travel and lifestyle vlogs? Got it. Makeup and hair growth tutorials? Got it. Basketball? Got it. Turo? Got it. Candles? Got it. It's everything us. All the parts of the journey that don't make it to YouTube will be on our story. You can find me on Instagram at DonivanG, DonivanGray, and my phenomenal, beautiful, amazing girlfriend, Anita Byrne, ANETABURN. We made different playlists for all the things that we are into, and you can find all of those links in the description box below. This may be your first time here, and if it is, welcome to the family. But for everyone else, this is chapter 3, page 137. Okay, this podcast has 4 different segments: life update, episode playback, Donovan's question, and the topic of the day. All video and audio timestamps will be in the description box below. So if you see something that you want to go straight to, you can go down there and click on that timestamp. Today's date is Tuesday, November 1st, and it is 11:29 a.m. All right. So before we get to life update, for everybody who is new, I don't know about this. The old people know about this. It is screen time check. Every week I check my phone to see how much time I spent on it last week so that I can manage it, because I feel like on my path and journey to be a billionaire, I will have to use my phone a lot less. So what just happened?
I was going to take a picture to put in the Discord.
Yeah. Melissa's taking a picture, and my was out. So, all right. So now, screen time check. All right. So last week, I was on my phone each day, an average of 10 hours and 25 minutes. How is that possible?
Will you be outside?
Do I really be outside? Golly. All right. So I spent 16 hours and 10 minutes on my phone. On YouTube, I spent another 16 hours and 10 minutes on Instagram, exactly the same amount of time. And I spent 12 hours and 55 minutes on Google Maps. The day I used my phone the most was Thursday, and I used it for 11 hours and 54 minutes. Ooh, my pickups was 200. Oh, that was on Thursday. For the week, it was 108 on average, and my first used app after pickup was YouTube. All right, so now, phenomenal, beautiful, amazing girlfriend, what was your screen time for last week?
So my screen time was 9 hours.
Ooh, it's kind of crazy.
Sir, it's up 160%.
That sounds about right.
Before.
It's a lot of percentages.
I spent...
How many hours? 9?
I spent 17 hours on TikTok.
That sounds about right.
That sounds
about right.
I think I fell asleep.
Oh, you think you fell asleep with your phone on? Oh, honestly, that's why mine is so high.
What? Instagram 8 hours and 27 minutes, and then YouTube 8 hours and 24 minutes. I'm surprised that Twitch isn't on here, but you want to know what it is? I think I've been watching Twitch on the TV. Or maybe I wasn't watching Twitch last week. Yeah. It's gonna be this week. That's Twitch.
Shout out to OJ Suave.
Facts.
Having us laughing.
So my average pickups was 135. Most pickups was Saturday at 251.
Damn.
But that's because of the craft fair. Because I use my phone to check people out.
Why?
Sometimes, yeah.
I feel like it don't be that high. Other days. What?
This is last week Saturday, right?
Yeah, it wasn't
So
double.
that might have been when we went to. That might have been when we went to Treats in the Streets.
Nope.
It's not.
Nope.
Oh. Well.
Last week it was.
What I said.
Okay. And as sorry as it has been recently, we are doing a subscriber check. So YouTube has been really been doing something bad. So we down bad. As of today, November 1st, 2022, we have 6,078 subscribers. I was looking at the other day and I saw another drop on here, and that drop was one of the podcasts. So I don't know what I said in that podcast, or maybe I commented. Let me check. It was, what day was that? That shit says $687. We have not seen that number since we first started making money on YouTube. This doesn't even make sense. You know what this is? I'm gonna put it over here. Because here's the funny thing about this, right? Hold on. Make sure I hide this here. Yeah, see that? Okay. This is what it looks like to me. Okay? To me, it looks like YouTube is trying to suppress the channel, but people are enjoying the channel. That's what it appears like to me. Because do you see this? That don't even make sense. This don't even make no kind of sense. How is it? It's just up and then down and up and then down and up and then. That makes no sense. That feels like it's trying to grow and there's some type of activity stopping it from doing that. That is the look that I'm getting. Because there's no reason why it looks like that. All right, that's the watch time. This is October 11th. Look at this. Okay, I'm gonna let y'all see this too. Y'all see that? I'm gonna put it in this one. Okay, there you go. That don't even make sense. How it go from $43 to $8? What should I start off with? Probably with the with the title. Okay, this is for all of my credit supporters who are out there. Listen, I love it because I've been trying to tell y'all this every week, and y'all be trying to tell me this is not what it is. Okay, so y'all know from a couple of weeks ago we got approved for a Square loan. It was around $1,200 for that Square loan, right? How it works with the Square loans are they're very similar, if not the same, as a merchant cash advance. So they take a percentage of all the sales that we make and it go towards the loan. They only base that amount of loan that they give us off of how much money we make through the Square processing app. Okay. So they gave us $1,200. Last week, okay, we hit 70% of the number to pay off. They have a little bar that tells you how much you have to pay off. We got to 70%. And very similar to the merchant cash advances from last year that I remember those, how we end up renovating the house, right? They offered us a new loan. And the new loan is $2,300 something, okay? $2,300 they just gave us. They want us to pay back 15% of every transaction that we do. To me, it doesn't really matter because we're going to make even more money, right? How I believe they come up with the amount to give us for people who have a Square business or who are trying to get a Square loan, I think what happens is they count how much money you have made from the beginning of the year until that day that they approve you for the loan. And in that time period, then they say how much you made, they divide it by how many months that is. Now, Melissa and I have been thinking about this recently, right? And I'm wondering if they base that off of how much we've made since we started using Square, or if it's how much we've made just this year. Because if it's how much we made just this year, then that means that next year, if we make 10 grand in a month, they'll just give us 10 grand because they're dividing it by that particular time period, like that month, right? That's what I'm thinking. I think that would be kind of crazy to do, but we'll see. If not, I think they might divide it by the whole entire period. So like from last year up until now. So obviously the more money we make, the higher the loan will be. That's what I think is going to happen. So as far as the money, we haven't gotten it yet. One of the reasons why is because when we approved it, their address wasn't correct. So I think they put it on hold until they verify the correct address, because last time we just got deposited directly into our account as soon as we approved it. So we haven't gotten it yet. It's probably like Thursday we might get it, and we're trying to figure out what should we do with the money. I know a lot of y'all are probably going to say, pay your rent, pay your credit card bills, Donovan, pay that. And it's like, I'm not doing that. Okay. I know in your soul, in your heart of hearts, you guys think that that's the best thing to do, but it's not. Okay. If we have no money, the best thing for us to do is to continue to invest into the thing that is making us more money. That's one, ourself, and two, the craft fair or the business, excuse me. Those are two things that the money will go towards. What we're trying to figure out right now is, should we incorporate the company? Because right now it's not incorporated. For those who want to start a business, who feel like you need to incorporate it to make money and all this other stuff, you don't. We have not been incorporated for a year. We are currently about to pass 27,000, probably this week coming up, this weekend we'll probably cross 30,000 for the year, and we have not had. We have a like a tax ID, I believe, which is free, right?
Yeah.
Which is free online.
And we just got it.
And we got that like 2 or 3 weeks ago. It's free. You go onto your state website, you say I want this, they give you one for free. That's one thing we are thinking about doing with the money. Another thing too, we think about hiring a cleaner for the house. And I was looking online, they charge $190 for, I believe, 4 hours of cleaning, which is a long time. And we only have a studio apartment, so it should get super clean. Because as of right now, over the last 2 weeks, what I have noticed is that we really don't have a lot of time. Like, we have even less time than we had before. Because if we're doing turnstile and doing double book craft fairs, turnstile is 5 or 7 days a week. So the house was looking crazy. I have a video, I'll probably put that up. I was going to title it, when you run a business out of your apartment, or when you run a small business out of your studio apartment, because it just looks crazy. Because as soon as we get home, we're exhausted, we go to sleep, and then we wake up the next day. Like, for example, yesterday we did the turnstile in the train station, and we were there all day. So now we come home. This morning, we wake up, just get the crust out of our eyes, and we gotta do the podcast. And then we have to still manage the candles for the upcoming weekend, which is, we're double booked again. And luckily we don't have to make as many candles, just because so many were made last week. But things like inventory have to be taken care of. Things like reordering certain things, just getting everything organized, still has to be done during the week. For all the people who make it a part-time job, these are the things that happen in the middle of the week. All right. So cleaning and eating has taken a back burner to those things, because as far as Melissa does all the cooking, I don't cook. I never wanted to cook, never gonna be a cook ever in my life. Shout out to my mom, who had told me that when I get in a relationship, I'm gonna be cooking. And I told her, I'm telling you, I'm not. I would starve before I cook, right? Like, I would eat the same food every day. If I have somebody that cooks that I live with, I'm not cooking. So because we have so much stuff going on, Melissa's not cooking, I'm not cleaning. So the house is just a mess, and we're just eating food that we find on the way home from a craft fair or coming home from turnstile. We're thinking about, like I said, getting a cleaner, because I also think that'll help with our mental, and I think it's cheap. And the laundry, we paid for our laundry to get done like 2 weeks ago. It was $60. They folded it, they washed it, they folded it, they separated into what color socks you have, they matched all the socks, they put her clothes on her side and my clothes on this side, they did the comforter, and that was over a month worth of laundry that they had to wash for $60. So we learned that we save money doing that, because it's more expensive if we do it ourselves, and we save time, which is very valuable. As an entrepreneur, I understand how much time I need to have to get things done, and I would much rather not be spending my time folding laundry if I could be doing the inventory, editing a podcast, anything else. A lot of other stuff I could be doing other than that. So that is what we're thinking about doing with the money. What else we talking about doing with the money?
The display for Turnstile.
Oh, I forgot about that. So Turnstile, we need a display, and we have some fire joints in mind. I really think that when we go there, the display that is made is going to be so great that it'll just stop. People will stop to want to take pictures with the display, which would be good marketing for us, good marketing for them. I think that it will just be lively down there because right now it's somewhat dead. And I think that we could turn it around. Like we could really flip it and make it a very nice environment to be at. But that costs money. One of the things that I want to get is a neon sign. I was thinking about getting some speakers. That's kind of what I have in mind, and maybe just anything that'll grab your attention, because what I've noticed from being down there is that a lot of the people are on a mission when they come past the booth. So I have to figure out how to stop them to make them at least smell what is it called? Smell a sample, or, you know, try to win a candle in a lottery, something. Okay. So that is what something else we're thinking about with the money. This week was going to be the week we start putting money to the side for Carlene. Shout out to Carlene, because she had lent us $1,000. And as much as you guys are upset about this, I had offered to pay her 40%, which is $1,400. And I don't think I ever explained this on the podcast, but to me, I'm thinking about how much money we're going to make from the $1,000, and I'm paying her based off of that, as opposed to what the usury laws are when it comes to loaning money out. Okay, so I'm not thinking about that. And also, when it comes to percentages or amounts of money, it really varies, because if someone lent me a dollar, right, and I said, okay, well, this dollar, I am going to play the lotto and I won $100 million, and I paid them $10,000 out of that. That interest that I paid is an obscene amount of money, right? But it's like, how much do I really care if I just made $100 million? That's how I feel about the candles. She lent us $1,000. We were able to do the craft fair, and from us doing the craft fair, that means that now we were able to get the loan that we just got for $2,300. So not only were we making $1,400, or actually making about $1,800 per craft fair, then we made that last craft fair, which was $2,500. Then we got the loan, and we still and we pay her back in December, and we're getting online sales. So if I tally how much money we've made, we've probably made thousands of dollars from the $1,000 that she gave us. So to pay her an extra $400 out of that is over 3 or 4 month period is nothing to me. That's like what? As less, that would be $10 a day for 1 month, basically, or even maybe honestly, it would be, I would say, probably around $2 to $3 a day from now until December, when she's getting paid back. So that's how I look at it. And this is what I talk about when I say I want to create 1,000 millionaires. Like I said, I think that we look at money very differently. I had this theory before when it comes to money, that money is, because it's called a currency, it's like a current, which is electricity, and that it's not meant to be held on to. It's not a static thing. It's meant to be transferred as often as possible. So I know this is going to sound crazy to y'all when I say it, because I know how y'all be getting, right? I don't think you should have any money like on you, right? I think that as soon as you have money, you should be spending it on something. And the thing that you spend it on should be something that's going to make you more money. That's how I look at it. So you shouldn't really be having money. Now, with that being said, things come up, right? But if you have a credit card, again, that's not technically having money, I guess, right? Some of y'all, you know, how y'all feel about that. And you can spend on that. But just having a bank account with money sitting in it, to me, doesn't really serve much of a purpose, because y'all already know how inflation works. Your money is becoming less and less. And honestly, think about this. When the money's sitting in your account, they charge you, you get 1% interest on it, right? But inflation, the funny thing about inflation is that they'll say it's 2 or 3%, but that's because inflation is based off of a certain amount of product that they use to base inflation off of. So they may say, okay, we're going to base inflation off of eggs and chicken and gas and light, but you still have to pay for either, maybe watermelons or getting a new phone. Those things don't go up by 2%. They go up by a lot more than 2%. So inflation is actually higher depending on what you're doing with your life. So to just have the money sitting there and not reinvesting it to make more money is just silly. But that's a podcast for another day. When it comes to paying back the money and helping to create 1,000 millionaires, this is the path of doing it. Because let's say right now she lent us, or she already did, she lent us $1,000. She just paid back $1,400, right? So now she has $1,400 to lend us again. I probably won't pay her 40% on the next loan, but depending on how much the loan is, but she made 40% on that loan. You're not really going to get that anywhere else, right? And it's nothing to me because we're going to make a lot more money. So I'm thinking about it from that perspective of how can I help make other people a lot of money? So that's why it sounds foreign to a lot of people, because they're like, nah, Donovan, that's too high. You charge somebody 40%. Why are you doing that? And I'm like, because it helps that person. That's why. Because the other person that I'm paying the 40% to just made 40% on their loan. That's why I'm doing it. Right? That makes sense? Okay. Now, okay. Last week, Melissa and I got into a very big, I wouldn't say big, I think we've been having some stressful times throughout this process of scaling the company and growing, which is the same thing. Just do multiple craft fairs. It has its lingering effects of stress on us, right? And within that, we have some very contentious situations, which I believe is mostly Melissa. That's my opinion. But we have them regardless, nonetheless. So over the last weekend, we got into a situation because we were at the craft fair and someone had asked, oh, is this you guys' company, right? Melissa responded and said, technically it is our company. She said, technically it is, right? So I'm like, technically it's ours? So I'm like, okay. I'm like, hey, I'm like, babe, when you said technically, what did you mean by that? Right? So she was like, yeah, I feel like it's mine. And I was like, huh, interesting. I'm like, okay. So my immediate response is, I got this from my dad personally, is to go, well, if this is yours and it's not mine, if I was to just stop doing anything at all, would you be able to see how it's not just yours, right? That's what my brain goes to. So then Melissa was upset, distraught by the conversation, and decided to take a walk. And then she was clearing her head and doing, just thinking. She came back and she said that she feels like it's her company. So I said, okay. So I'm like, I have nothing to say to that. Like, I don't have a response to that. There's nothing I can really say once you say that. So then towards the end of the day, she wanted to go and sit down before the craft fair ended, and her brother stayed, and we went and talked about it. So we got into the car and I'm just like, okay, what is it that you want to talk about? She was just kind of going over the situation. And then I'm like, okay, it's hard for me to have this conversation because I cannot take what you're saying seriously. But if you feel that way, there's nothing for me to say. It's asinine to me, but that's how you feel. So then she compared me to her brothers who help us and my mom who helps at the craft fair. And I'm like, wow, you view me the same as the people that help us at the craft fair. I'm like, that's kind of crazy. So then we had that conversation. And again, I'm like, there's nothing I can do for that. So in that situation, right, I'm hurt. And now I'm like, you know what? I'm going to be honest with how I feel about the situation. I feel like something is wrong and I don't know what it is. I feel like emotionally, you have to figure out how to regulate your emotions, because when you feel a certain thing, you say things that can cause us to split up. Or you do things that'll get me really upset, that then cause me to go, you know what? I don't want to do this anymore. Even though you don't want that outcome, the things that you're doing are going in that direction. So in a conversation, I'm like, you know what? I think that therapy would be good, just so that you can talk to someone that's not me. Because one thing I've realized when it comes to just being in a relationship with anybody, I think even be like somebody you're dating or a friend, it's like hard to have the conversation with them without a third party to talk to. So if I'm talking to someone, I'm going to feel like they're only saying what they're saying to win the argument. So it's going to be a conflict. And I think that happens when Melissa is talking to me, where she may think that what I'm saying to her is so that I can control her or make her do something or whatever the case might be. And I'm like, okay, I get that. So talk to someone else as a third party and then see what they say. Because I think that there are things that you would have to work on. One of them is impulse control, I feel like, to regulate, to be able to just see clearer what decisions you're making and how they affect you. Forget about me, how they affect what you want. Because if Melissa's goal is for us to date and get married and have a family and be amazing down the line, right? Then the things you're doing now are not leading to that outcome. So if these are the things that you're doing, you don't be surprised that the outcome that you get is not what you want. And then do you see that the things you're doing are leading to a different outcome? So I'm like, if that's what you want, I think that you should try and figure out how you can go about fixing that. So Melissa decided to do therapy, and her first day was yesterday, and then tomorrow will be the actual therapy. I guess that makes sense. They had like an orientation onboarding or something to that effect. But we've tried therapy before. We've never done couples therapy, which this is not couples therapy, but we did it before. And it's on the podcast and we experienced it. I think that therapy, again, is helpful. But one of the issues that I have with therapy now is that I feel like with therapy, we're too poor for therapy, right? You're probably like, what does that mean, too poor for therapy? They have all of the BetterHelp therapists. They have the therapist that's on your network for your insurance, right? But for me, I feel like if you want real therapy, they're like, listen, I charge $100 an hour. We could be here all day, right? Because I am poor. Okay, the therapist that I go to are like, hey, Donovan, you got about 6 minutes left to be talking. I could be in a complete meltdown mode. They're like, listen, man, I hear that it's going really bad for you, but I got a client in 3 minutes. Can you wrap this crying thing up and we can do this next week? Like, I think that takes away from the therapy. And I think even if you're about to have a breakthrough about something, they're thinking like, that's cool, but I got to get on to the next thing. And it reminds me much of the law system when it comes to lawyers, where you get a public defender and they have a whole bunch of cases. They can't give you the time that you need for your case, and then you fall by the wayside. And then it's up to you to find the lucky one that has the skill and the resources and the network to be able to actually help you, right? But that's going to be very far and few between for that. So the therapist that Melissa's going to now is better, I think, than BetterHelp, but I think that she will still fall in line with the situation where they are going, I hear you. I guess we'll talk about it next week then, right? So see you next week. And I think that there's more to therapy than that. And then also when it comes to therapy, I feel like because of how analytical I am, I'm analyzing my therapist. So I just need someone, for me specifically, when I decide to do therapy, I need someone that is more analytical than me, or has so much control over their emotions and understands how emotions work. That way I can then trust that they understand how I'm feeling and how to interact with that. But the minute that I feel like that's not the case, I'm gonna probably be defensive, or I'm gonna be more pessimistic about it. So that's what my opinion is when it comes to therapy. So like I said, we'll keep you updated on that. But I do think she also started reading a book. What's the name of the book?
4 Seconds by Peter Bregman.
4 Seconds by Peter. Can you say last name? Bregman. And I think she had posted on her story, but I also read it, and I think she might have showed it to me too. I do think a lot of that stuff that they were talking about is very helpful. And I think, like I said, when it comes to having a third party that speaks about it, it's like, okay, this person, like in this situation, Donovan is not trying to take advantage of me. He's telling me a thing. So this other person that has no attachment to this situation is also saying something similar to what he was saying. Let me look at this differently. So I think that always helps with any situation, whether it be me, her, and that's why I will call up random people and be like, hey, let me ask you a question. I'll call somebody from years ago. Let me ask you a random question, bro, or female person, sister. Do you say sis? Is that gay? Can I say that? So, yeah, that's what I like to do. So, cause I'm gonna keep you updated on that. I think that relationships are hard, and I think that they don't have to be if both people are trying to work on themselves. I don't condone cheating, though. I feel like cheating there is no people. My feet are falling asleep. I think people will cheat, and I don't think there's coming back from that. So people do date after that. Me personally, I think that's very, very hard to come back from. And I don't know if I can come back from that. But I think a lot of other things can be dealt with. And I also think it's important to have boundaries. So now Melissa's music, right? Her music is now on streaming services. It's on Apple Music. It's on Spotify. It's on Instagram. It's on Tidal. It's on TikTok. I actually used it in one of the posts I did the last week.
Bro.
What?
Someone just bought the candles off Instagram. Instagram?
That's crazy. How many they bought? Which ones did they buy?
They bought 3 wine down.
Small?
Yes.
Crazy.
What?
Every time you get a part-time job and then this happens. It's crazy.
What? Off the Instagram?
I didn't know you could even do that.
Bro, I actually be setting things up.
It's like, damn, you got to sell from Instagram. We getting sale. And I told you, we set up bulletin. So they might, listen, we going crazy. Y'all are seeing the bubbling, okay? Y'all have probably I personally don't know any billionaires that have filmed the journey from start to billion, or 10 billion in my case. I don't know that. Y'all are seeing it firsthand. Y'all are seeing it 3 months ago, 4 months ago. Debauchery, craziness. A year ago, more craziness. It's going up though. But you know what's gonna happen? The people who are new are gonna go, wow, how did y'all just grew overnight? And it's like, come on, if you watch the video on the channel that says, what is the Bamboo Project? We spoke about this from years ago. Here's the thing, right? I have known that we were going to be successful at whatever we do, right? Because to me, success is just not stopping at something. If my goal, which again still isn't even over, but if my goal was to be a real estate mogul, right, I would just continue trying to figure out how to keep getting better at real estate. I think a lot of people think that if you don't do something amazing the first time, then you have failed. And it's like, no. In every situation that we have been in, I would say that we've had success. In my opinion, I think that we have ran into some crazy roadblocks. Most of them roadblocks being we didn't have the capital. That's the most of the roadblocks. But in terms of, we found an amazing deal, found a way to close on an amazing deal. We had multiple luxury apartment buildings wanted to give us units for Airbnb. We able to finesse getting a car for a Turo. We were getting bookings regularly. We were getting amazing reviews on there regularly. When it came to wholesaling, we had multiple properties under contract, but got screwed out of multiple deals on those contracts. And then only deal that we probably was supposed to flip and turn into a wholesale it, we ended up buying it and renovating it without ever having any experience, I guess if you want to call it that, flipping houses. And now we have the candles, which is going crazy, right? This month alone, okay, talking about the candles for y'all. We were doing the math 2 or 3 days ago, right? Tell me this is not crazy. This is what I said about the revenue.
Mind you, they paid $10 for shipping.
Crazy.
And sales tax.
Crazy. And it's a guy.
Right.
In Jersey.
That's off Instagram.
Wow, what if that's Noah?
Noah's in New Jersey?
No, but he bought the wine down. I'm wondering.
He does live in New Jersey though.
But I'm thinking not if it's him, if it's from him buying.
Yeah, it's possible. But I think he is also connected to New Jersey. So like, yeah, and it's the wine down.
So if I Google him, I'm gonna find out he might be an agent. Because what happened was our agent, I don't know if I told y'all this, our agent bought a bunch of the travel size candles as gifts when he sells properties for people to burn in their house, right? So now this could be somebody that bought it because he just bought 6 last week or the week before, and he might have told somebody else and they just bought 3 of them. That's what I think. So we're gonna find out later. But so far this month, I believe.
I can tell you, I did the numbers.
Oh, Melissa will tell y'all exactly how much money we have made this month in revenue.
In the craft fairs.
Take it away, babe.
In the craft fairs that we did this month. Mind you, we only do craft fairs on weekends. And we did 4 weekends?
4 plus an extra one. Because we did one was double booked.
Right. So, for the month of October, Ember Candle Co. in-person sales, $7,167.
That's in person, us selling candles at the craft fair. Just us at the craft fair on the weekends. Okay.
So.
Wait, hold me. Okay, what's that number? Tell me again.
Oh, no, I did all of it.
Okay. She got all the numbers. All right.
So, online sales.
Online sales.
With no advertising.
No ad. We have not paid for an ad.
No Instagram posts. Technically just a story.
We just post at the craft fairs. We post when people buy. We post when we go. That's what we post. We don't be making content like that.
No ads.
No ads.
None.
Tell them.
We made $355.
$355 this month. How many orders? Do you have the order number?
5 orders.
5 orders this month. Okay.
And every single order, I'm pretty sure every single order was more than 1 candle.
Okay.
So, yeah, it says 15 units sold. From the 5 orders.
So we sold 15 candles online this month.
So, that brings us to the total of
Tell them.
$7,522.
That's $7,522 for this month with just candles. Okay. Now, what is not included in that number is YouTube, which paid us like $1,600, I think, maybe $1,200 it paid us. That is another $1,200 on top of the 70. What number was that? 73 or 75?
70. You can call it 75. Yeah.
7,500 plus the $1,200 from YouTube, right? That's $8,700. Then we have the miscellaneous revenue here and there, like the spreadsheets. We made a couple $100 this month. The photo shoot made $100 this month, and then something else we have made money from this month. I forgot.
I have a TikTok settlement that came.
A TikTok settlement, okay. So
$30.
we are almost at 10 grand for the month in revenue. And here's the thing, right? I know a lot of people who are watching this are gonna feel like, but that's not profit. It's not profit. You have to reinvest it back into the candle business. You don't get to keep that. You have so much money in debt. And it's like, yes, but imagine having all that debt with no money coming in. We were there. Now we're just increasing our actual gross revenue. Income to me, or the profit to me, is the only reason I care about profit is so that we can grow the company outside of just paying for more materials for the same amount of candles we already sold. Because now if we have 40% margins on the candles or 70% margins on the candles, that 70% could be paid to go to another craft fair. It can be paid to hire somebody. It can be paid for ads. It can be paid to make our life easier. It can be paid to make the candle process making better. That's why if I'm going to care about profit, why I care about profit. And the numbers are going up. And that's not including if we get the loans. Because to me, I get a loan, it's going to the candles. I'm looking at it as money. Like, hey, spend it, whatever. So.
And the loan came directly from the candles.
So we have 2 months left. We have November and December left. I felt like this month was November, which is crazy. That means we have a whole nother month left. We're only double booked once this month, which is same as last month. And we don't have as many dates in December. But that only means that we're going to be putting more time into the one that's at the train station that is 30 days. And then that doesn't include, I'm telling you, it's going crazy. That does not include because next year it's going up. We already have a bunch of books. We already have a bunch of dates booked for Grand Bazaar, which has been our best selling place. And we only did it one time when we had no idea what we were doing. We were just out there just selling, trying to figure it out, and we made an obscene amount of money comparative to what we have been doing now. So now that we actually have a plan, we have been doing this for a while, we have some experience, I am very curious to see how much money we make over there. We could make less. It's possible. I don't think about that. It is possible, right? But
is it likely?
Unlikely. Very unlikely. Okay.
Off Instagram.
What off Instagram? Crazy. Insanity. So, bruh. So that's that. And then, who was it? I forgot. Somebody had commented about repurchasing the candles at the craft fair, right? I mean, last week Melissa had talked about us not getting a lot of reorders. What she was saying was that because the candles burn for so long, the orders don't come in as fast for repeat customers because they are still burning the old candle. This last craft fair that we did, we made, how much we made for this? We made $1,200. Like $1,200 for the last craft fair, which is lower than normal, but
yeah, I think it was $1,200.
My number that I always have in my head is $1,400. So we made $200 less than we did for that craft fair, but every other craft fair we've been making $1,800 and up.
And it was Halloween weekend.
And it was Halloween, so we think that contributed to it. But this is so crazy. At the craft fair, both days, Saturday and Sunday, right? Multiple people came back to the craft fair and was like, I have one, I love it, it's about to run out, I'm buying another one. And a lot of the people that have bought the travel size, which is the small one, re-upped on the big one. They were like, yes, I came back for a big one. Okay, I'm gonna tell you a little funny story. It was just something I thought was very comical that day, right? While I was selling candles, right, I'm in my mode, I'm doing my thing, some old man comes up to me, right? And I'm like, hey, you want to smell a candle? He was like, oh yeah, I came here to buy this one. And I was just like, oh, you're hilarious. Because, sometimes you get those jokesters who are like, yeah, man, I was going to buy a candle, 100 of them today. You get those sometimes. So I'm like, oh, word? Well, today's our lucky day then. He was like, yeah, I'm looking for a room service. And I was like, wait, what? He was like, yeah, my daughter sent me here to find you guys to buy the candle from you guys because she loves it so much, right? And I'm like, oh, he's serious. I'm like, which one do you want? He said, I'm getting a big one. I want a big one, right? So then, not only did he get the big one, that was him, right? Multiple people, this happened more than once over the weekend. People said, I had a roommate who has your candle, and I am coming here to buy one for myself. We also had somebody, I think more than what this happened too. Someone said, I have a roommate who has a sample of your candle and I want to buy a candle. We had somebody else who said, I have a sample of your candle and I want to buy it for myself. Okay. This happened over the weekend, the last weekend. We're sitting there like, this is crazy. People are coming back like, I want to get this candle. It is amazing.
So I have a story from this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
There was this girl that had came out to, because this is different. When they come knowing that they are getting a candle, like with a mission, it's a different walk than someone that's like, oh, what y'all doing over there? So she came up to me and I'm like, hi. And she's like, hi. Okay, so she said that she came because she wanted to get a big candle. She said she already had a small one, whole thing, right? I'm like, okay, awesome. I was so excited and everything. And then she said, can I actually tell you a little story? I'm like, okay, sure. So we have a game that we play with our customers. We have them guess a scent for our candles, right? So she's told me that, she's getting a big candle now because she's just she's getting a big candle now because she just moved. Right, that's what she's getting it for, to celebrate her move. I'm like, oh, that's awesome, right? So she's telling me, she was like, actually, that day when she came to Artisan Fleece, when she played the game, she was playing it on her first date with this guy. On her first date, right? So a part of that first date experience was them playing the candle game together, smelling the candle, buying it, and so on and so forth, right? So they've been burning it. That's their special candle. The big candle that she's buying to celebrate her move in, she's moving in with him she's moving in with the guy that she was on a first date with the candle, and that's how she's celebrating. And that's so crazy that we are a part of someone's love story,
right?
With the candles,
bruh, crazy.
If they get married,
they gonna buy candles. They're gonna buy Ember candles, and they're gonna have them all out. People are gonna be like, "Oh, this is amazing! I love them. Where you get these from?" They're gonna buy it for themselves. We should start a relationship connecting website, a dating app. We're gonna start a dating app that's what we're gonna do. And on each app, every time you swipe, if you guys match and like it, you get a candle for free.
That's not funny.
Because it's the stories that we hear, like people coming. Another woman came in, and this person came in and was like, "I want a wick trimmer." I was like, "What?" Mind you, we don't even really push them like that. She's like, "I want to get that." And I was just like, sure. She was like, "Yeah, I have a candle and the wick, it'd be too high, the fire be too high, and I don't understand." I was like, "You know what? I keep cutting it. It doesn't stay low, and I'm getting one of those." And she bought one and I was like, "Okay, here you go. If you want it back?" She's like, "Nope, I just want the wick trimmer. That's it." And she just left with it. And she already had a big candle from us. And she was loving the candle. She's the only issue that the wick be too high and to be having the fire be too. So for anybody who does not know this, if you are a candle burner and you feel like your fire is dancing too much, it's too high, your wick is too high, trim it to 1/4 of an inch. Okay, so that's that. But it's so much. Like I said, this going crazy. I think if we did almost $8,000 this month with the candles, I'm hoping we could do more next month. The way the sales are going, we haven't really implemented anything at Turnstile yet, so boom. And then there's a lot of candle episode stuff. We just heard back from Ink Sports. So for both those who do not know what Ink Sports is an affiliate marketing company, and we met them at the craft fair. So they work with college athletes, and they just sent us back 3 athletes that want to sell the candles on their Instagram. So we now have to pick from the 3 that they sent us and say, okay, who is going to be the candle person or the people that we choose for the candles? It's 3 of them, and they're gonna market it and sell it on their page, and it's just more promotion. It's just more promotion for the candles. It's like it just keeps going and going. It's going crazy. It's going crazy. And again, like I said, if we had gotten an Airbnb, we would have already been at 6 figures by now. We would have probably had 15 Airbnbs at this point. But things be happening. This weekend we're double booked, so that means that next podcast I'm probably gonna say something like we made $2,500 again in the weekend or something to that effect. This is our first time coming back to this place, and we might be inside. But if you are following the candle page, you will be able to see all of the shenanigans that we have that happen at the craft fair, because we post a lot of stuff on those 2 days. And then I'm about to buy some Crocs also, because I've tried them on for the photo shoot, and I realized that standing up for the podcast hurts my feet, and I also need something outside that's comfortable. And my shoes are old. I have not bought new sneakers in years. I need new pants. All my pants are too tight. But Crocs first. I need Crocs. I need something for I need footwear. I need everything, but I want Crocs first. All right, episode playback. All right. You guys can let me know what you guys feel about it. I think that zooming in is immaculate. It is amazing. I look like God painted me with a golden brush made of golden gold, and it looks phenomenal. The thumbnail comes out a lot better when I edit it. My only issue from last week is that the only issue I have from last week is the audio. I don't know if y'all picked up on it, but it sounded really bad to me, and I hate that, because I feel like audio is more important than video. Because I'm like, some people might watch the podcast, others might listen to it, but everybody's listening to it. Like, everybody's gonna listen whether you watch it or not. So that kind of sucked, and I think the reason that happened is because the gain on the microphone was too high, and it was clipping, which is similar, or as I read, it's like losing data. So it said that doesn't have the right enough information to pick on what your sounds like, whatever. But today I have tried something different for that, and I'm standing further from the mic, and the gain is turned down. And something I just realized now, this is for you, babe. You might know this already, but I just feel like I learned this right now. That I think the microphone changes what it picks up. What happened?
So I wasn't sure how Instagram would do, so I only put like 3 available to buy. So I'm like, so it says sold out. So I'm like, I wonder if they would have bought more if it wasn't sold out.
That's crazy.
So
they bought all of them. That means they bought all of them.
Right.
That's crazy. Yeah, well, listen, 10x up to 999. With the microphone, I think that it changes how it picks up sound depending on how loud I am. So when I first start the podcast and I'm talking, I feel like I can't hear myself as sultry as I want, right? But I think when I speak louder, the microphone changes itself to take me speaking louder. Does that make sense?
Say that one more time.
So if I'm speaking low, right, I think the microphone knows I'm speaking low.
Oh yeah. I think it does that, and then it tries to hear you more.
It does it changes how it picks it up. So now I'm speaking louder. I feel like I hear the sultriness from me speaking louder as opposed to what it was earlier. So that's something interesting I learned too. I thought I was a pioneer in this podcast standing up thing, but I've realized, well, I don't know. Honestly, now I think about it, I still might be a pioneer, but Abba and Preach, they do stand up when they talk, and I think they do over an hour. So I don't know if it's a podcast per se, but they are standing up, and I don't want to, say I'm a pioneer and colonize standing up if they already did it. So whatever. Stands up doing a podcast. You can let me know who they are. This went off again. Because I'm very curious to see other people who stand up doing podcasts. I know that, everybody's different. Bill Burr has his podcast, but he does not have guests. He does it by himself. Other people just have one person and they talk to somebody else. Other people I've seen, they will have themselves not themselves. They have multiple people as host and then bring somebody else on. A lot of different dynamics. But I think by myself standing up Melissa's here, honestly, that is another dynamic that people don't really have. So there's that. And then shout out to Jonathan L. We were talking in the comments before, and I did not forget when you told me that Amazon is not overvalued. If you check the stock market right now, last year the stock price was thousands of dollars. Right now, I think it's under 100. It's undervalued now, but it was overvalued before. The stock price does not value the company, and a lot of people base the price or the value of a company off of the stock, and that is inaccurate in my opinion. Okay, so for those who are into the stocks, y'all probably already know what I'm saying anyway. So if I had money, I would probably buy. Honestly, I should talk to my sister and tell her to invest into these stocks because they're so low. I'm gonna talk to her about that. Like, you got all the stocks is going down. Facebook down, Amazon down. A lot of these things. Get your bag. Get in there. Listen, we be lit in the Discord too, by the way. Shout out to everybody that's in there right now. Sarah, Tori, Peanut. I don't know who Peanut is. Don't have a name. Sean. Done one too many. Who?
Yeah. Mia.
Oh, Mia. Shout out to Mia being there too.
Two Fredericks.
Two Freds. All right. So we be lit in there.
Done one too many.
Yeah. And like I said, right now, shout out to Done One Too Many. He was telling me about how to have a separate voice chat, like a group voice chat on there, so that when I go live, people could go in there and talk. So I'm working on figuring that out. But like I said, we be in there, we be sending pictures. Like I said, that to me is what I update the most, even more than my Instagram. I update more in Discord than I do on my IG. But and like I said, people in there right now. Tori is about to start new development. I think he's on the second lot. What's his name?
Sean is a pharmacist or working to become.
Oh, right. Sean's trying to become a pharmacist. And I'm thinking about Sarah. Sarah already has, I think she has 4 cars on Turo. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of people in there right now. We're getting more people in there that have different walks of life so they can all drop information and help everybody, become millionaires. My goal is 1,000 millionaires. I have not forgot the goal. It is still the goal. On my way to 10 billion, I'm trying to make 1,000 plus millionaires. All right. So get that info. So this is a topic of the day. So if we have another couple minutes left, I'm gonna just something I thought was very interesting. I was watching a Kevin Hart movie a while back, maybe a month or two, and the Mark Wahlberg character had an agency, and it didn't seem as overwhelming because YouTube has people who are under 25 making tens of millions of dollars with agencies, right? And it's very funny to me because I think if we were to watch a lot of shows back in the day, the things that they used to revere as either like an attractive person or a lot of money or anything like that are very common in today's day and age, right? So if you were to go and watch something like 50 First Dates, because YouTube, or the one with Adam Sandler, because YouTube wasn't as popular back then, you may not have had exposure to a lot of the stuff that you see now. But what happens if you watch 50 First Dates and you find out that he was an assistant, right, working at I don't know, I can't think of anything, but imagine if he was saying that, let me put it like this. Imagine if he was being idolized in that movie because he was making $75,000 a year. And like everybody was like, oh my God, you're making $75K a year. You are amazing. You're killing. Like, that's so funny to me because they have that a lot. And even the people that are supposed to be like, oh, Ugo rich, like ridiculously rich, they have like $8 million. The people that are like, you could build your own house with $8 million. It's like, you can go on YouTube right now and find a streamer that made $8 million last month. Like, or you can find the Coco Melon children who make videos about babies who've made $45 million in a year. Like, I just think it's so crazy if you watch any old movie, try to compare it to now in terms of just, and when I say old, I'm talking about like after 2000, which is like, that's so crazy. That is so crazy. 22 years ago it's about to be 23, was the year 2000. That is crazy. That is so crazy to me, bruh. And then, yeah, that's just that. Every time I think about it, every time I watch a movie, I can't watch them the same anymore because of that. I'm like, oh, this don't even feel like. I think people watch movies for the fantasy of it, and they remove the fantasy when they forget about how real life works now. Like, you have to say something like, all the numbers you have to use in your fantasy world have to be 100, 400, 700 million or something like that. And even with that, think about Alex Hormozy. You go on there, he's talking about he made $100 million by 28 or 29 or whatever the number was. And it's like, damn, that don't even, the fantasy that I was watching in the show is lower than this. And it's real life. It's not a fantasy no more. I need fantasy numbers. And even with the men and the women who they say are supposed to be the most attractive people, if we look at them now, we're like, bro, you don't even have no muscles. You don't have no body, nothing. You have nothing. And yet they have put you in this movie as if you are the pinnacle of attractiveness. I find it to be very interesting. We will be back here next Tuesday. You can find all the behind the scenes content on our social medias and in the Discord. Okay, mine is Donovan Gray, DonivanGray, and my phenomenal, beautiful, amazing girlfriend, Anita Byrne, ANETABURN. Discord is in the description. I don't know what the actual link is. You know what it is? Hashtag Bamboo Project 2022 is gonna be a movie. We got 2 months left and we coming real hard. Okay, we coming hard for the last 2 months. And with that being said, Bamboo Project out.